4, 3, 2, 1.
Studio Classroom is recording.
Please stand by.
Studio Classroom is on the air.
Welcome to Studio Classroom on the air. Your English will improve today. My name is Carolyn. Do you like to cook at home or do you prefer to eat out? Eating out can be fun, but many people also enjoy cooking at home. Recently, more young people have started to discover the benefits of cooking their own meals. Our lesson today is the joy of cooking for millennials. There are many reasons millennials are cooking at home more than before. Can you think of any possible reasons? Let's see if you thought of any of the reasons mentioned in our lesson today.
The joy of cooking for millennials. Young people are discovering the benefits of cooking at home. When I first arrived in Taipei, I spent a great deal of time exploring the city. One of the first things I discovered was the vast number of cheap and delicious places to eat. I later learned that, for those same reasons, many young people preferred eating out instead of cooking at home. A change appears to be taking place, though, and millennials are leading the way.
Hi everyone, welcome to Language Lab. 这篇文章的第一个重点，我们看 millennial 这个名词 ，M-I-L-L-E 这个字首有1000的意思，所以 The millennials 是指公元2000年左右出生的人，这样的人归属在所谓的千禧世代或者是 Y 世代。注意它的重音是在第二音节念成 millennial， 常常用复数形。例如 One of the characteristics of the millennials is individualism。千禧世代人的特质之一就是个人主义。Millennial 也可以当形容词，例如 The millennial generation is also called the me generation。Because they care about themselves more than others， 千禧世代也被称为我世代，因为他们关心自己胜过关心别人。继续我们看的是 lead the way 这个成语。lead the way 本来是指引路或带路，例如 I know this city inside out， I'll lead the way。我对这个城市熟到不行，我来带路。但是 lead the way 在今天的课文中是指示范、做先锋或者是领先。如果要说明在哪一个领域领先的话，是用 in 这个介系词。例如 Macintosh has been leading the way in the field of smartphones for years。苹果多年来在智慧手机这个领域一直都是位于领先的地位。或者是 This university has been leading the way in biochemical research for the last decade。这所大学在生物科学研究方面，在过去10年来一直居于领先的地位。
Thank you, Michelle. Now, Gabe, I have a question for you.
I enjoy most questions.
Excellent. Do you enjoy cooking?
I enjoy other people's cooking.
Yes, I think that is true for many millennials, but in our lesson today, we're going to learn about the joy of cooking for millennials, and in the sense that millennials are the ones doing the cooking. And I love the phrase in our title today, the joy of something. This just means that there is happiness or pleasure or satisfaction that is caused by doing something.
And I just have to mention, the joy of cooking, or joy of cooking, is actually the title of a real cookbook. It's a very famous book that has been printed many times in the United States. There's more than 18 million copies to date, and is basically full of recipes and ways to enjoy cooking the different kinds of foods mentioned in that book.
Well, you know, you could also say the joy of eating. Many people enjoy eating more than cooking.
Now, why didn't you ask me that, Carolyn? Do you enjoy eating, Gabe? Yes, of course I enjoy eating other people's cooking. You know what I like about this title, though? Okay, I was wondering about this. I think our author included a hyphen or a dash there so that there was no confusion, because it could be read, if there's no dash, it could be read, The Joy of Cooking for Millennials. And the idea there is different. That's the idea that you are cooking for someone who is a millennial.
Right, but here our title wants to make it clear that millennials are the ones who are going to enjoy cooking in our lesson. So let's read it. Young people are discovering the benefits of cooking at home. And how does it continue there, Gabe?
All right, when I first arrived in Taipei, this is our author speaking, okay? When I first arrived in Taipei, I spent a great deal of time exploring the city. That's a great thing to do when you visit any place, right?
Certainly, yes. You should explore, go out and see what's around you. And one of the first things I discovered was the vast number of cheap and delicious places to eat. And that is certainly true of that city, Taipei. And we see this really great word bank word here, vast. If something is vast, then it is great or large in size or quantity.
That's right, and there's a couple of different ways to use this, right? You could talk about a vast number of something, like our lesson does, a vast amount of something. He has a vast amount of knowledge about that subject. You could talk about a forest or an ocean as being vast. That's a very vast ocean or a vast forest. There's a vast difference between this restaurant and that restaurant. That means there's a big difference. So there's many ways to use that little word.
Right, and our author learned that there are a vast number of cheap and delicious places to eat. And she also learned that for those same reasons, many young people preferred eating out instead of cooking at home, which seems logical. There are lots of tasty places that aren't expensive. Why would I want to cook at home? I can just go out and eat.
Well, Carolyn, to be honest with you, that's exactly how I felt after I read this sentence. Because I grew up in Taiwan, and when I was on my own, I became independent after high school and college. Then, of course, this is one of the things that I really appreciated about living here, is that there are a lot of great, delicious, and cheap places to eat out. So why cook for yourself?
And that is a question that we need to ask, and we see a really great phrase here to kind of express how we're feeling, to prefer to do something. We see people preferred eating out, and if you prefer something, that just means that it's more desirable than something else, an alternative choice.
That's right. So for another example, if you ask me if I like tea or coffee, I like both, but I prefer coffee usually. I prefer pepperoni pizza more than other kinds of pizza. I prefer showering in the morning, not in the evening. So the idea is that there is an alternative or another option because you prefer one over the other.
Right, and this is often used to describe what you are in the habit of doing. So if you say, I prefer coffee over tea, then you are in the habit of ordering coffee when given the choice of coffee or tea.
That's right. And the other idea here is that it's not like you dislike the other one, okay? You just like one thing more than the other or over the other. You prefer one over the other. So in our lesson, many people prefer eating out instead of cooking at home. Carolyn, would you find that's true of you as well?
I do think that's true of me. It's very convenient to eat out here.
It's so true. So great too. But I do like that this lesson is in our magazine this month because it's encouraging me to start thinking about the idea of cooking at home.
That's great because we do see right here in our next sentence, a change appears to be taking place, though, and millennials are leading the way. So that's us.
That's right. That is us.
And I like this phrase here, taking place. Something is taking place. That means that something is happening.
And we can use this phrase when talking about the plot to a story, okay? What takes place in that story, what happens in that story. For example, the movie is a story of something that took place in Germany during World War II. Okay, so it took place in a place and during a certain time.
Right, and I think that we have something really great to learn in the info cloud.
Now you're cooking.
Hello everyone, and welcome to InfoCloud. Today, we are going to take a journey into the kitchen and talk about useful expressions inspired by cooking.
Now you're cooking, Joe. This is a phrase that talks about cooking, but actually has nothing to do with making food.
Now you're cooking means that you're on the right track, doing something that you should be doing, or doing something well.
You can also say that you are cooking along, which means that things are going well or going faster than you expected.
This lesson is really cooking along. I didn't realize that we would get so much use out of talking about cooking.
Yeah, now we're really cooking with gas. This is another way of saying that someone is cooking, in the sense of doing well.
I associate this saying with working on something that suddenly clicks or starts making a lot of progress.
Let's say Joe and I are working on putting a really complicated puzzle together. It takes a while to get started, but then big parts of the puzzle start coming together quickly.
At that point, I could say, now we are cooking with gas.
虽然今天分享的这个用语有 cooking 这个字，但是跟烹饪一点关系都没有。当你做对了一件事情，可能会听到有人对你说 Now you're cooking， 或是 Now you're cooking with gas。字面上是瓦斯开了，你现在开始煮东西了。但是真正的意思是你做对了，这样做就没错了。食物只要开始煮，过不了多久就会有东西可以吃了，是一个很棒的过程。因此才会用 Now you're cooking 来形容你这样做就对了。这就是今天的 InfoCloud， 我们下次云端见。
Studio Classroom is on the air.
Welcome back to Studio Classroom. Our lesson today is the joy of cooking for millennials. That's right, many young people are discovering the joy of cooking and the benefits of eating at home rather than eating out. We've learned a little bit about that today, but in our next section, we're going to find out more about why millennials are starting to eat more at home.
The joy of cooking for millennials. According to one survey, more young people are starting to cook at home for 3 basic reasons. They can save money, eat healthy, and waste less food. Popular TV chefs are also getting millennials excited about learning some basic culinary skills. Many millennials view cooking as a form of entertainment and self-expression. They proudly post pictures of their culinary creations and invite friends over to share the cooking experience. Young people enjoy the process as much as the finished product and are willing to experiment. In true millennial fashion, they turn to their phones' food channels on YouTube for meal planning tips.
OK， 接下来我们看 chef 这个名词 ，chef 常常是指餐厅的大厨或主厨。例如 ，The Peking duck is marvelous. I like to give my compliments to the chef in person. 这道北京烤鸭太好吃了，我想要向主厨当面致意。或者是 Sean became the assistant chef at a renowned restaurant at age 23. Sean 23岁就成为一家很有名的餐厅的副主厨。如果是一般的，就是非专业的厨师，就叫做 cook。 例如 Rita is an excellent cook. Her spaghetti is heavenly. Rita 是一个很厉害的厨师，她煮的意大利面真的是太美味了。最后我们看的是 culinary 这个形容词。Culinary 是指厨艺的或者是烹饪的。例如 Ashley went to study in a culinary school in France last summer. Ashley 去年夏天去到法国的一个烹饪学校读书。或者是 Patty savored many culinary delights during her stay in Italy. Patty 去意大利玩的时候品尝了许多美食。或者是 Kate bought many cooking gadgets hoping to improve her culinary skills. Kate 买了很多烹饪的道具，希望能够让自己做菜的技巧可以提升。And now let's get back to our teachers.
Thanks, Michelle. Well, a change seems to be taking place among millennials who are cooking at home, and let's find out why this might be the case. We read that according to one survey, more young people are starting to cook at home for 3 basic reasons. And what are those reasons, Gabe?
All right, we read they can save money, eat healthy, and waste less food. Okay, those are some great reasons. I really like the second one, to eat healthy. You know, there are a lot of great restaurants that are cheap and delicious, but a lot of the food is made with oil, and that's what makes it so delicious. And so if you could just cook at home, you could figure out ways to eat healthy.
Right. Don't cook with so much oil. That is not healthy. Many foods cooked at restaurants have a lot of salt or a lot of fat or oil, and while those things do taste good and they can be good, you don't want to eat too much.
That's right. So we have some great reasons here for why you should consider cooking at home. That's just one of them, to eat healthy. Of course, you could save money and waste less food. Well, we read popular TV chefs are also getting millennials excited about learning some basic culinary arts and skills, okay? Our lesson says skills. But culinary arts, I just think of that phrase because some people go to school to learn culinary arts, that is how to cook.
Right, so culinary arts is what you study in school and culinary skills is what you learn. And millennials are learning some culinary skills from these TV chefs, and they're finding it to be a lot of fun. We read that many millennials view cooking as a form of entertainment and self-expression. Now we have a couple of things in that sentence to look at. The first one is to view something as something. And this is used to express an opinion.
Right, so for another example of how to use that phrase, I did not always like reading. I read quite a bit now, but I used to view reading as boring, or I used to view it as a waste of time, especially when I could use that time to go and hang out with friends. But now I view it differently.
So you view something as something. You view reading as fun.
Exactly. I certainly do, Carolyn.
Great. Well, I love to read, and reading is fun. And here, millennials view cooking as a form of entertainment, and we see self-expression. Now, this is a really great term to know. Self-expression just means that I am showing who I am, and I'm displaying my uniqueness, perhaps my feelings, my opinions, my ideas through something.
And this is something we learned about people who like skateboarding several months ago. Of course, it is a way for people to express themselves, right? That is self-expression. People who have blogs online, that is also a form of self-expression. It's a way for you to use your creativity to let others see and understand a little more about you.
Right, and they proudly post pictures of their culinary creations and invite friends over to share the cooking experience. Now, young people enjoy the process as much as the finished product and are willing to experiment. Now, here, experiment does not mean a science experiment. Let's look at this word. Here, it simply means to try something new or different.
That's right. And so, of course, it could be a science experiment. And the idea is kind of the same, is that you're trying to figure out how something will turn out or what the result will be if you do it this way. It'll be different if you do it that way or another way. You can experiment and have fun. And I like that phrase in this section, okay? People enjoy the process as much as the finished product. It reminds me of that phrase we learned earlier this month about people can enjoy the journey just as much as the destination.
Right, and we see here that in true millennial fashion, they're using their phones to look at videos on YouTube, and I love this phrase, in some kind of fashion. And that just means that it's a way of doing something that is unique to a certain person or group of people.
Well, in true studio classroom fashion, it's time for us to end with the SC Challenge. So let's go to
the SC Challenge.
Let's find out who's in the studio for today's SC Challenge. And so the lesson is called The Joy of Cooking. So as you introduce yourselves, answer this question. What is one of your favorite dishes?
My name is David. One of my favorite dishes is my mother's lasagna.
Oh man, I bet that's made with love.
It's made with love and just about everything else that tastes good.
Excellent. How about you?
Well, my favorite dishes are those that I don't cook myself.
Hey, Hazel.
Reason.
What's your name again? Hazel.
Hazel,
of course.
yeah.
Hazel, I would have to say I agree with you there for myself.
Oh, I see.
Yes, sorry, not about you. I'm sure your cooking will be great. We just have to give it some practice, maybe?
Maybe so.
Yeah. Okay, well, here is number one, the joy of cooking for millennials. Number one, what does Taipei have a lot of? A, cheap and delicious restaurants. B, amusement parks. C, super expensive shopping malls. Or D, zoos. Hazel.
A, it has a lot of delicious and cheap restaurants.
A, delicious and cheap, or cheap and delicious restaurants is correct.
That is correct.
That is true, yes. Number two, why are young people starting to cook at home? A, they can save money. B, they can eat healthy. C, they can waste less food. Or D, all of the above. Hazel.
All of the above.
Hazel, you are correct again.
Boom!
D, all of the
Man,
above.
I gotta catch up.
All right, this is for you, Dave.
All right.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Number three, how do many millennials view cooking? And it's not just with their eyes. That's not what I'm talking about. Okay, here's A. It's too difficult to do. B. It's only for real chefs. C. It's a form of entertainment. Or D. It's better than school. Dave.
A.
A. It's too difficult to do.
It's too difficult to do.
Yeah, maybe, but that's not correct.
Well, I don't think so either.
Yeah, right? Well, wait, Hazel, what do you think?
I think it's C. It's a form of entertainment, of course.
Man, this whole thing here has been a form of entertainment. You're correct again, Hazel.
are
Yes, yay.
Boy, I tell you, you're really something else.
I know.
Thanks.
Have you been reading the lessons, Hazel?
Yeah.
Some of them, yes.
Excellent. Well, friends, I'm sure you did a great job too. Hazel is today's winner here for the SC Challenge, and that is all the time we have. We'll see you next time for the SC Challenge.
Bye.
See you later.
Today we've looked at the joy of cooking for millennials. Is there something that brings joy to your life? What do you enjoy doing? We learned a term today, self-expression. How do you express yourself? Is it through clothing? Is it through food? What do you do to let others know who you are? Talk about that in English, and we'll see you next time on Studio Classroom.
A good friend lasts a lifetime. I am so proud to have you in my life. A good friend lasts a lifetime.